Okay, so okay, I see where the mark is here on page Tov Kuf Ayin Bet. Bring this down a little bit lower. So now we're going to get into this concept which he had mentioned. This is one of the... Oops. All right, we'll wait here just a second. Okay, so now I've located our place. We're on number Aleph in the left corner. And what's happening here is we're talking about this phrase in the pasuk, which is v'chachayos ratzu v'shuv. What does it mean that they ratzu which is running or going? Here it means going up. V'shuv and then comes down or something like that. So he said Reba or Yakar. He says look at the or Yakar of the Ramak. He says so. He said b'ferish hasheni. So when he talks about chayos, the chayos are running, he says, or whatever they're doing, he's going to explain. He says, shehem teferes malchus, which is their benuk, that's zun, and explains in this language where that particular these words, ratzav v'shuv, it doesn't mean that the zivug is intermittent, I guess. It's really talking about a continuous, a perpetual yikud. So he says that they come back a second time to make yikud. Now that itself sounds like a contradiction. He says on the one hand, he says that one will give the idea that it's an occasional yikud. But on the other hand, he says, well, the shuv means that they come and do it a second time. Well, if the mitzvah maybe it's not occasional, I don't know. Maybe do it twice. I'm not sure. Let's see what he says. V'ha'ayus ratza v'shuv, who's so ratza the isyached, his kasher, ha'chayus yachad. So he says this is desire. The desire ratzu, the hisyachad, I guess ratzu means, I'm thinking it's like lashon ratzon. But it said the his yachad, the his kasher, hachayus yachad. It's that desire, or they're running towards that. Behind the yisod, the teferes and nikros chaya. So the yisod, the teferes is called chaya. So that's yisod. V'hamalchus shenikros gam came chaya, also called that. So in other words, these are the two chayas. The chayas are running to come together, something like that. Ve'edach chayas ranso this yachad. So that's what they're running. They're running, or they're, if it's not running, then it's they're running towards it. They're v'shuv lehisyacha be'inyan so then they come back and they make a yichud again. Inyan al makom anachal cholkim shom heim shavim l'leches. Now let's say this phrase: the place that all the rivers go. Shom heim shavim l'leches. That's where they're trying to go to. I guess they're returning to that to go there. Behind the Ratzazu neged, the Ratzazu, Ratzu means Zu neged Zu misyachdim. So it says these two opposites, I guess that's what he means. Ratzu means that, I think it's desire, like that. Zu neged Zu misyachdim. So they're running at each other, and they make a yichud. The Shuv, Pam Shniya, they come another time, and they do this. The his yachad yichud acher yichud kama yichudim, so making a bunch of yichud or many yichud. The yichudim einoch be'alacha yedech be'emsoy b'neichem be'indach yisod. The yichud can only take place as a result of that middle ground. That is the place called the yisod. So he said derchsiv v'yar elokim es or kitov v'yisod ba'atzpo nikra tov. Okay, so something like that. Number best, Bahadras Melech, he has this definition. Kan bir v'zel l'shon v'chachayus heim yisod malchus. So once again, he says the chayus are those elements of creation that have this yichud in mind. Yisod malchus ratzav v'shuv b'simcha zivuk chasadim, which is the simcha that comes as a result of the yichud that is brought about through the chasadim. Ki oz nikra yisod tov. Then it's called yisod, it's called tov. And why? Because it is a tipus of chesed, right there, ready to be discharged. Ad kan. Below Nizbayer kan Malhu Inyan Ratzu V'shuv. He doesn't really explain that. B'simchas Hazivog. V'ulai Kavanaso Ka'ayin Dibir Hagruah. So I'll move on the Holom. That's going to be with us a little bit later. So let's go on to number Gimel. Number Gimel says Ka'ayin Zecher B'Rebech Aras the Bir Hambashula V'Pir Hagruah. Shahu V'Rebedivir B'Bir Hagruah. So let's get into it. He said B'Sod V'Hachayus Ratza V'Shuv. Was it V'Shuv B'Shas HaZivug? What does that mean at the time of Zivug? The Hindach of Ratza M'Chayisod Ayil B'Nukva. So he says Ratzo means Kasher HaYisod enters into the Nukva. That's Ratzo. V'Shuv Kasher Yisod Choyzer L'Achra. I think that's, I guess it's a Vav. L'Achra. So it's when it goes backwards. So we have a couple little note on that. I don't know if that's going to help us any. Let's see if we, well, I'll get to the note at the end. So he says, that's the language over there. He says, V'kol Yisod Yesh Bo Shnei Bechinos, Echad D'Dechura Ve'echad D'Nukva, Shehem Kalu B'Hei Keshach Yisod Niknas Bo. Now let's read this again. He said, V'kol Yisod Yesh Bo Shnei Bechinos. What's the Bechinos? One is the D'Dechura. Whoops, I guess I lost him. I didn't even know it. Okay, I was concentrating so hard, I guess I lost you. Let's Vizel the Shom Badillah, this is what he's trying to say. V'kol Yisod Yesh Bo Shnei Bechinos. Every Yisod has two different aspects to it. Echad D'Dechura, Ve'echad D'Nukva. So what does this mean? Shehu Kalu B'Hei, with that Nukva, which is a part, I guess, of the letter Hey, Kusher Yisod Niknas Ba. Now we had that concept before that the difference between the dot and the Hey, or the Yud in the Hey, is that one was originally, it was a dot, and then the Yisod comes in and it develops into a Hey. Maybe that's the same idea here. So what's that mean in regards to this? This is what Ratza V'Shuv means. Inyan ke Yisod D'Dacha Kashuhu Anhu B'Yam Kashuhu Yisod D'Nukva. Interesting words. The D'Dacha, when it goes into the sea, which is another concept of the Yisod of the Nukva. Eino Noch, it doesn't rest there. Ela Ayil V'Nach V'Nach V'Ayil, but it goes in and out, goes in and out. But B'Chilas Katish Katishim, like being pounded. We say over here making incense or spices. So Shem and Kosis, that's the concept of the making of the pressing of olives. Kashuhu Nafik Oz Hu D'Chura. So when it goes out, it's the Chura. When it goes in, Hu Nukva. Now exactly that I'm not sure I understand. The Fiha Yisod, the Dachar Nechlabal. So he says which is according to the I guess the Yisod, the Dachar, it becomes incorporated inside of her. B'rei od l'holon, I'll see a little bit later, we'll see this. Ech yisparish the bira gra, how we're explaining here this bira, the gra. The Inyan, the Chayus Ratza V'Shuv, the Inyan, that the Chayus are going, it sounds like it's going back and forth. The Inyan native is so shorish as Zivug Abba Be'ima that he really wants to look at it like this. In the secret of the roots of the yichud that takes place between Abba Ve'ima B'Zivug Chayich B'Garon, which we have in Eric Anpin, the yichud that takes place between the palate and the throat. The Eric Anpin and Eric Anpin, because the palate is the male part, and the Garon, I know that I've seen this and we've seen it before. It's not really clear when it takes place or how it takes place. Maybe it is. Maybe there's a very high level of yichud there in the throat. Derek Anpin, Ayin Shom. V'chein Rei B'Sefer Yahil or L'Hagroa. I didn't know he wrote that book. I don't know the book. V'zel L'Shono B'Toch Devarav. He said Yischor D'Luchu Go Nukva. It's the yisod of the male inside of the female. Batish B'Tishim. It strikes it over and over again. Yotze V'Niknas Talmud, constantly going in and out like a saw motion. V'lo Nach Al Fida the Rega Echad. It doesn't stop this motion in and out even for a moment. And so therefore, the Chayus Ratza V'Shuv, the Chayus are going back and forth. We have this over in the Sifra Tzniuta. V'hachayus ratzu v'shuv, Om tzadik kitoiv, etc. like that. Ayin sham ad kan. So he said, V'rei b'zecha b'gam b'yachol or ayin sham. So let me see something. There's also a note there. Now let's go back. Let's go back to the first note, which was number Kuf Aleph. So number Kuf Aleph up above, it says, Kasher Yesod Ayel Benukva B'shuv Kasher Yesod Choyzer L'acharav. So this is another, now we wind this out. He has this sawing motion. Let me say there's something on number Kuf Aleph down below, and it says, Mashbech B'sham the Mefarish V'chachayus al Yesod the Dechura HaKolu Benukva. So this word V'chachayus, which I guess is plural, he says that this is the concept of the male Yesod being incorporated into the Nukva. V'zel V'shono B'toch Devarav, he said V'arbecha B'chayus Hein B'nukva. He said what? There are 4 different chayos in the Nukva. V'hu Yesod the Dechura Rak Shakolu Benukva. V'hu Yesod the Dechura, this is the Yesod of the Dechura entering and being incorporated into the Nukva Kamo Kain Yomin the Dechura. So let me say like this. The right side of the male ad kan. So I guess when he says there are 4 for arba chayosheim. So I want to see what does he want to say? The right side of the male, the left side of the male, the right side of the female, left side of the female. I don't know what the 4 are. V'ulai b'tzon l'lomer. Maybe this is what he says. Mishum shachar yisod nosin chayus b'nukva. So he brings this chiyus into the nukva. That's the reason why. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is going to be number 23. Kaf Gimel, that was down at the bottom. Ratza v'shuv amr tzadik kitoiv ayin sham. He says, number 23 says, B'yachal or sham, v'zel l'shana v'zechu v'chachayus ratza v'shuv, that they were going back and forth. So he said, Kamara aboker, I'm not sure what that means. So, like the vision of the morning. So he says, Shachakol Nimshach El Shorsho, that everything goes back or extends back to where it came from. Tenuas Adam Be'eska B'Torah. So this is really talking about the movement of a person as he's learning. I guess it means a shuckling. Shahaz Nikra, I have trouble with my glasses here. Chai. It's called live. Alive. Besod Aver Chai, which is the concept that the Shefa has come into the very tip of where it needs to be transferred. So let me try number 24. If we got anything going on here, he said, B'yachal or, he says, Ayin Sham, and what does it say in the Yachal or? B'zal D'shono, Yashon Yachal or, he says, B'toch Devar, he said, B'hi Ratz V'shuv Gam Kem Kama Kamo Haruach Benafik B'mei. Like, for example, he says what? The Ratz V'shuv Gam Kem Kamo Harucha Benafik B'mei. So like the Rucha that comes out from it. Shall call nimshak acher sharsha, but that everything is extended from its root. For whose sod v'hazibug the akol benafik hayisod benukva. So this is the concept of yichud, which is going in and going out. That the yisod inside of the nukva. So tzaddik the ayil tzaddik the nafik. So that's the tzaddik is enough a word for yisod. Goes in, goes out. When it goes in, it's incorporated in the nukva. So there's more to it. Maybe in another place he's going to talk about the relationship with Ima also, which I thought that he was going to say here. So she'enu ratza v'shuv ela kashuhu chai. That only happens when it's loaded, I guess, b'havein. So try to understand that there. So let's go over here a little bit more and proceed on. Ve'amshir dezehu gam kavanas han-nezer Yisrael. So maybe this is what the Nezer Yisrael is trying to say. He says, Shabir b'divir Sifra d'tzniut, and according to Sifra d'tzniut, is explaining, kan, b'zel d'shon v'chachayis ratza v'shov, Nira be'enai, he said, who besod kasis, it's the concept of pounding. Who besod kasis l'ma'or. So in other words, really pounding or pressing the olive press to get out the oil. Ayin bezoyer Pinchas, look over there, ad kan v'ratzon l'loma k'moshe kasa b'sifra chavodas Yisrael, b'zel l'shona ch'bedilov, kasis l'ma'or. So he's got this idea of pounding. Neither b'chazoyer kodesh, so we know that the tzaddik kodesh b'kitishin, that the tzaddik, which is another lashon of Yisod, kodesh kitishin, it pounds. Ayin b'tikunin. So look over there. V'achayos ratza v'shuv, that the chayos went back and forth. Zech kederek ha-kotesh b'makteshes. This is like the concept of pressing something. Kotesh maktesh in a press. Maktis emotze I don't know. What is that? Buchna basat basita. He said it became. So what does that mean?
Pestle in the mortar.
Yeah, a pestle mortar, right? V'chein ha-tzadik medaber devich b'debir. So the tzaddik also is speaking out words of Torah, like maybe it's lashon chesed. V'choizach mizdaber b'shorsho, and goes back and forth. That's what I was thinking he was trying to say, because you could say it someplace else. B'shorsho, v'choizer v'oma Torah, and then it comes back and says Torah. In other words, I think this is the concept what he's going to talk about a little bit someplace here, of the connection between the two hays. This is that the Yisod actually connected to Phares, which is connected to Bina, and also connected on the bottom end to Malchus. I thought that's what he was going to say. He does say something like that somewhere. Let's look over here at number Kaf Hey. Kaf Hey has a little bit of a richus, and it says, V'rei od b'ha'aros l'bir ha'meshul. Al pi Arizal, he said, B'masha kosev b'sefer or Yisrael. Al tikuni azor ayin sham this guy came for highest rots of the shuv. Here we go. Keratzadik nikro chai bebeis olomos. So he's a tzaddik is called chai in two olomos. Vein lechem menucha, but there's no rest for that. The whole lefnecha v'chanekeva, and he goes in the presence or in front of the lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Umaratzach the father of Knesset Yisrael, and well, I guess he appeals in front of him our Knesset Yisrael, Malchus, Knesset Yisrael's Malchus. Ma'angoch b'devarim toivim b'shav the Knesset Yisrael, and he comes and he says, I guess what Ma'angbo, and he celebrates b'devarim tovim with these good words. B'shav the Knesset Yisrael, and he goes back to Malchus. B'choldach the Knesset Yisrael, and he goes to Knesset Yisrael b'devarim tovim u'machzicha b'detruva d'fnei Hashem Yisbarach. So all of this story, I'm not quite touching it up right. But let's see, he says, and he goes to the Knesset Yisrael Malchus, b'devarim tov, with these good words, machzira b'detruva d'fnei Hashem Yisbarach, and causes everything to come back to Hashem Yisbarach. And it goes backwards in their return to Hashem Yisbarach. And brings back from there all these different streams of goodness. Because it's the Vav. This way he's talking about is just really a channel. Mekabel b'noisen, it receives from up above, and then it gives it down below. How called the Knesset Yisrael, and all of the purpose of this is for Knesset Yisrael, which is Malchus, Gan, V'ayin, Od. I think there was also another one, Kaf Zion, Kaf Vav, I skipped it, and Kaf Zion is coming up. Where are we time-wise? 6:28. So let's stop here, and we'll come over today's, I can't remember, 22, Adar, 83. Okay, so we'll go over to Tefillin. Tefillin's full of all kinds of good stuff, too. And we'll see that.